Hey Liz, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We are in the mini series of my favorite topic and something that I made a staple in House of Halls, which is finding gratitude within our grief. Today might be a weird one if you just kind of look at the title of it, but I really wanted to talk about the power of no. And I think it's weird to put that topic with gratitude. So
Yeah, let's
hopefully,
unpack it. Tell
no,
us more.
stay along for the ride on this one. Um, Yeah, so for me, this is very weird. This is a very personal thing. I would be so interested to see if there's somebody else kind of in this boat or if you haven't realized you're in this boat, but
Mm.
I've always been very bad at saying no. And I don't mean like I'm not talking about like yes man with what's his name? The guy that's in Liar Liar. Oh my god,
Oh, Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Yes. Not that kind of no that saying no to everything, but I very much like if someone invites me to something or if someone asks me to do something or whatever, I have a very hard time telling them no unless I can justify my answer.
Mm.
And sometimes I feel like I just don't feel like doing it or I don't have the mental capacity or I'm just tired and would honestly rather like not wear a bra and sit on my couch that
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
Whatever my reasoning is, if I don't think, and this is a very me thing, but if I don't think it's good enough, I feel like I have to say yes
Mm.
or that I'm letting that person down or something.
Yeah.
Actually, a very good example. One of my absolute best friends, sometimes she'll come over, like, like later on after the kids are go to bed, she's like, just wants to hang out, catch up, whatever, have time to talk uninterrupted. And we'll just like hang out and watch a show or usually not even like eat sushi, just have a drink.
Yeah.
And I love it so much. And there was one time she asked me to do it and I was just, honestly, I was just tired. Like, I had to
Mhm.
put the kids to bed. I had a long day the next day, but I wanted to do it. And in my head, I struggled with like, I don't want to say no because I don't want to let her down. Or what if she like needs to talk to me about something tonight? Or all these things of like why I shouldn't tell her no. But I was like, what do I really want to say right now? And I was just like, I just don't have the space for it right now. Like I don't, maybe tomorrow, maybe 2 nights from now, but like tonight, I have to say no. And I told her no. And it was like, to me, I can't tell you how bad I felt saying no.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
cannot tell you how much she didn't care that I said no.
She
Like
was like,
yeah, she's like, totally get it. No worries at all. Like just offering or, I had nothing to do tonight. So I just thought I'd check. And to me, I
yeah.
was this whole like, oh my God, I don't want to let her down, and how do I say no to somebody? But I through my grief with William, I feel like that was the
Mhm.
first time. So I was younger with my dad, so I feel like I didn't have as much say in my day-to-day life type thing. I wasn't making those daily
Yeah.
decisions
Yeah.
the same way at 9 as I am at 30 some whatever I am, 30, just 30, we'll leave it there.
30.
30-ish. Um, but the power of no and the things that I would have never said no to before William died that I say no to after William died is actually something I am so grateful for. I am so grateful
Why?
that
What did it give you?
it really gave me like, I don't know, like a validation that like there's certain things in life like you have to give limits to yourself for your mental health and that any reason is important enough. And just
Yeah.
learning that skill that like just because I might have be physically able to be present for something doesn't mean that I have the mental or emotional capacity to be present for that thing.
Or
Um,
even if you do, you still don't have to.
100%. But like, that's not a thought that used to cross my mind.
Mm.
And it was grieving William. There was just times like it was really hard for me to be in group settings where people knew what happened. Like even just going back to the gym to work out.
Sure.
I get back to, we've had conversations about that anticipation of something.
Mm.
And that was something for me, like anticipating what that experience would be. Are people going to ask me about it? Are people going to treat me differently? Are people going to look at me differently? I remember even walking into the school the first day after we went back to school after my dad died. That was a
Right.
huge thing. It was all over the news. Everybody knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember walking into that cafeteria and I felt like 100 heads looked at me. And I was
Mm.
just like, what do I do?
Right.
And but it was really after William that I just I feel like maybe I wouldn't even call it my social battery, but I just felt drained a lot of the times where I was like, things I used to look forward to, I don't want to do. But I don't, through therapy, I just kind of learned really the power of saying like no to things that don't serve me. And that could
Yeah.
be small or big, but there's also like, there's a business thing, and I'm very into like people that lead in businesses, and I don't even know, the like mentors, things like that.
Mhm.
And one of the people I follow and look up to a lot in business made the point, he has a whole video about it, but essentially just because you are free doesn't mean somebody deserves your time.
Yes.
It was like a very valid, like he was like, okay, if someone, hey, are you free at 3 o'clock? Yeah, I'm free. But that doesn't mean because I'm free that I have time to do whatever you want me to do.
Right.
And I was like, that is such a powerful realization
Mhm.
of like, what does free really mean? Like, am I free? Like, what am I sitting here to you doing nothing? Well, maybe I need that time for me, and you consider it that I'm free because I'm not picking a kid up, or I'm not working out, or I'm not committed to
Right.
work. Whatever I'm doing isn't,
Right.
you
There's not
know,
something on my schedule.
exactly. But that doesn't mean you have to fill it with something else.
Right. So, one of the ways I like to think about the power of no is also your best yes. And so, there's actually a wonderful book called The Best Yes. And I had a similar experience, but opposite, because for me it was filtered through this concept of a well-placed no is saving you for a yes. And
Mm,
so similarly, I struggled with saying no without justifying it and feeling like whatever I gave, I don't know, I felt like obligated to give someone a reason why I couldn't do things.
mhm.
And this concept of if I say no to things that I don't need to do today or tomorrow or whenever, whatever that offer is,
Mhm.
I am creating this opportunity for saying yes to something I do want to do. And for my brain, that was like exciting because I was like, what am I doing with all these no's? Like, what am I going to do with like, it left me a lot of tension and unknown. And then leveling that up because I was terrible at it. I wasn't good at that. Like the
Yeah.
concept resonated with me, but I wasn't putting it into practice.
Mhm.
And then I read this concept of hell yes, because how do you know if something's a no? Because for me, I could talk myself into anything. I could talk myself into anything being a yes. Like, well, Jen, this is so important to her. And I know she's been working really hard, or I really want to be a part of that. Or, oh, they just had a baby and of course I should take them food or whatever. Right. Um, I would talk myself into so much. And then I would do it and I would be like, okay, yes, I'm glad I did it. So for me, how I have this has stuck with me for years. I think I'm in like, going on 8 years of this concept where if someone asks me to do something and I can't say hell yes, like, yeah, that is something that I would choose now and tomorrow and in a week. Like it's a hell yes for me. It's a no. Like if my initial gut reaction isn't clear, I say no. Because guess what? If your initial gut reaction isn't clear and you talk yourself into it, then in a week, in a day, whatever, you're going to be frustrated or you're going to do it half-heartedly or you're going to do it and it's
Yeah.
going to just kind of be
Which,
done.
yeah.
And in grief, that becomes even more important because you are living in most likely energy conservation mode
Mhm.
because your nervous system is dysregulated and your body is managing a lot and your immune system is managing a lot. And so the more often that you can slow down and or just create time for the things that you find value and meaning in,
Yeah.
the easier it's going to be for your body and your brain to process and show up for you. A lot of people become sick, literally like head colds or just fatigued because they keep pushing and they keep going.
Mm.
And our bodies are never not watching. And they'll communicate with us, right?
Yeah.
They'll slow us down or become sleepy or all those things. So I think this is such a valuable concept to discuss with grief, because I think it allows people to start practicing something tangible. There's so much you cannot control when you're grieving, but you get to control what you say yes or no to.
Yeah. I think for me, the big gratitude part in that was the grief of that loss gave me this like overwhelming, I don't give a shit mentality,
Mm.
which sounds weird,
Mm.
but I appreciated it so much because it almost like removed that filter. It moved that like let me overthink this and convince myself to do something. Like I just don't want to do it. My answer is no, and I really don't care to give you a reason because I just didn't care about anything for a while, you know? And but like looking back, I'm really grateful for that because then I got to practice saying no to things
Mhm.
that I would have never said no to before. And it was something that I reflected back on and said, "Hey, like what what positive has come from this?" And that's it taught me the power of saying
Mhm.
no. It gave me it dropped my guard enough to notice what's important and what's not,
Mm.
separate those things and be able to confidently say no to the things that weren't in my this is important bucket or I feel like doing it bucket. Um yeah, so as weird as it is and something if you were to ask me like, "Oh, what good came out of that?" that I wouldn't have ever thought I'd say, but yeah, like it was almost like William taught me how to say no to things that don't serve me anymore.
Mhm.
And for many reasons, like get like I said that guard down, but then just that perspective on life too of like am I going to care about that tomorrow in a week? If I died tomorrow, if I lost somebody tomorrow, is that important? No, it's not.
Right.
It really is.
Well, and I think that concept of being able to have more clarity on what's important to me right now in this season of my life and in my future. So many of us, depending on your stage of life, you're living in kind of an inherited importance. So, you don't really get to choose a lot as a kid. And even in high school and college, like you still kind of have this is what's important to us. This is what's important to our family. These are the things we value. Like, these are the things that should be important to you. You're still sorting, like, who am I? What is important to me? So I
Wow.
think to experience that as an adult, it's different because, you know, being a wife and a mother and a business owner and all the things that you had going on, I think
Yes.
it gave you more clarity.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a very weird thing, but for me, it was a big gratitude thing and something like a huge life lesson, like character building almost.
Mhm.
It's weird that I needed something that traumatic to like teach
Mhm.
me that lesson, but I just think it's one of the ways that grief has changed me into
Mhm.
who I am now, and honestly, something that I am proud of and like
Mhm.
almost like thank him for. So
Yeah. Oh, I think it's beautiful. And I'm curious for other people, I wonder how many people previously, so prior to maybe grieving a loss and or, joining the community,
mhm.
is this how they lived? Because some people are like, I have no problem saying no.
Yeah.
I'm curious how many people resonate with what you're saying. And they're like, oh my gosh, wait, I can say no. Like I can do that. That could give me some sense of control and or peace in my life.
Our next 30-day challenge, guys, say no to something every day. Let
Do
us
you want to catch up with that? No.
know. I'm validated today. I'm validated.
Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for being here. And we'll keep going with our gratitude series because
Yeah.
I'm sure we visit this like way more than just 1 month because I love it.
Yes. Love it.